Welcome back to Beijing, ladies and gentlemen, as we're in the middle of our series of OMG taking on RNG. I'm going to jump straight into this one. On my left, your right, is Clement Chu. Welcome back. My name's Jayce Sazipenko. I had to go to the bathroom. I had 3 minutes and I ran, so I'm a bit out of breath. Clement, you're going to talk to me about the draft while I catch my oxygen back. Throw it up! Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Oh, we're in for a treat. RNG
Uzi's
Uzi.
Vayne.
Yum. All right. That's always a good one. Good one to see.
And we got out. What is it? Drunken Geometry. No, Drunken Geometry.
Yes, Drunken Geometry combo. And Langx is playing something as a carry. So RNG are giving us, giving the fans a treat. Something out of the ordinary. A lot more.
Yeah.
Show.
But
potential.
I mean, I'd be scared again. That's a Jayce top, like a Jayce top for Langx.
Yes.
So this could be interesting. You steal away the Renekton. Well, they didn't actually want it this time. So curious to see. Let's get straight into game. Because I don't need to talk about this. We don't need to talk about this anymore, Clement. I will ask, however, whether Langx this time is going to be on a stronger side.
So to sum it up, OMG this time they have a stronger top side with Sejuani's superior pressure over Gragas and the fact that you can chain it up just with the W from Renekton. Should be a lot of pressure going on Langx's way.
Okay, well, I'm excited to get into the second game because RNG smacked OMG. You ever been to Wet and Wild? No, you haven't. I think that's an Australian thing.
It definitely is.
Okay, let me relate. You go on to Disneyland and you go down the Tower of Terror. It is terrifying. It is the worst ride because people think it's the best. OMG went down the Tower of Terror. Except instead of the brakes working, it crashed. They died in game 1. And now in game 2, they're hoping that the brakes work against RNG.
I'm pretty sure the tourist agency is not going to appreciate that.
I don't care. I hate that ride. I went through it in Tokyo. Been to Shanghai Disneyland, actually. Went in the break between splits.
All right, so checking around,
Okay.
we do see the first ward being taken, and Xiaohu was part of that, so he's going to hit level 2 on the first wave.
I guess you don't care about my Disneyland adventure. That's very fair.
I'm sorry. I should pay more attention.
It's okay. Look towards the top side, though, while you're here. Karsa's...
Is he doing the level 1 cheese?
He's gone into the brush. Yeah. Now, okay, there he is.
Okay, it's not the cheese.
Okay, I'm just like, he's not going to start W, of course. Nice hook there from Hudie. But on to Kane. Now, this is a trade that I think Kane doesn't want. He'll going to be burnt. Not worth.
Yes. You can definitely say that was a clear RNG win.
Yep.
The amount of shielding from Lux early on is just, it's so obscene.
Yeah. And we're going to get ourselves a lot of damage coming toward that level 2, level 3 mark as well. So you're just taking a look at runes. All is expected across Summoner's Rift. The Airy taken into the top lane matchup, so a lot more poke. Speak of which, Xiaohu in the mid lane is just destroying so far. So things looking good to start off for RNG.
Yep, and just to mention that this Vayne is not a pick just for the audience. Actually, Uzi does prefer this matchup into the Karsa.
Yep.
Just in a 1v1 potential, it's very strong in lane.
He's always talked about it being the condemn factor as well as when that ultimate comes across. Very easy for the Vayne to reposition and get that into wall condemn. So we'll see what happens here. Good scatter of the week there from Xiaohu in the mid lane. Trade's going well. And Uzi can dodge away from this Nautilus too. So it's a double special here for the Vayne.
All right, this is the gank that we were talking about.
Langx on the weaker side again, it seems, but he just turns onto Curse. The 1v1 turned 1v2. World 6 level 3, but Flash is still available. Langx burns it early. Arctic Assault from World. He's just going to run on in, look for first blood, and OMG finally fight back.
Very well done by World 6, and that was just one of those lanes where it was bound to happen. What is Icon doing here?
Xiaohu just walking face first. Good flash out of the weak, misses. Xiaohu gets the auto and dies. That was fantastic.
Can I call that a win for Icon?
That's a win for Icon. That's why he stayed. He knew that would happen.
Really good dodge out on Scatter of the Week. Going towards the right side when Xiaohu was aiming towards the left.
Watch this again, Clement.
Well, this was kind of cut and dried.
Kind of dry.
Yeah, not much.
I mean, it's pretty simple. But this is the one we want to see. Go. There we go. Xiaohu just walked at him. Look, AFK.
Like, he was trying to block his path. He was trying to stick him underneath tower.
Oh no! And he's like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. That's fair.
He had to.
He had to get it at that point. Tier back here for the Ryze, who's already getting bullied out in lane. Versus Xiaohu, who just got an amplifying tone. So if you take that win, OMG even got big vision because of it.
Those early wards are just so detrimental to lane trading. Wow.
Yeah, Hudie, quarter of his health. This is the power of Vayne. Titan's Wrath does nothing because Silver Bolts just pierces right through that.
Yep, that's true damage. We did see. So what happened and how this lane went this way is you could see Xiaohu, because he knew he had that ward EXP, was able to walk up level 1 and level 2 instantly just QE combo onto Icon, get most of his HP away, and that led into a level 4 tower dive where he nearly got the kill for free.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things are very important in competitive play, these minute details. If you get that early warding, you have to remember that that guy's going to hit level 2 on the first wave.
And remember that, you know, while it was a trade-off kill, the fact that OMG traded back is good because RNG had such a clean game 1 to come to this and be like, hey, we're getting messy already at 3 kills, 5 minutes. Even this from Karsa is good news. World 6 just going to bop into him. Aftershock gets procced and Karsa drops down a control ward only to have it taken away.
Yeah, he's just checking if Icon is still around the area. And Karsa just, wow, whenever he has any sort of advantage, especially with his mid lane, he's willing to force it super hard. Sejuani actually wins that trade against the Gragas. Yeah. So he's just banking on the fact that Xiaohu is in lane while Icon's missing.
He's now towards the top side. World 6 has made his rotation. Karsa's still here. Good control with it that deep in. Priority and vision from RNG might set up Icon's death. Predator, he's like, I see you. Karsa's trying to path around, but he's already been spotted out. Ping's going down. He's back to his Raptors and should be able to spot out that deep control ward from OMG on the way.
And this is the Doinby treatment that we've seen in the FPX series.
Yeah, good point.
Karsa, and actually both times they played, was able to get beneath the tower level 4, level 5 gank kills.
Yeah.
Which were pretty disgusting to watch, but that's what happens when you know where the enemy jungler is and you have the crowd control to execute on it.
Karsa almost level 6, so we're about to see that in action. Xiaohu has hit his unleashed power as well. So level 6 on both the mid laners, blue buff getting transferred over from the Sejuani at some point.
What I really want to see is just the level 6 ganks from Sejuani from World 6 onto the bot lane. We were talking about this in the previous game. The most important way and the most effective way to actually stop RNG's advantage is to stop Uzi. They're only... Basically, if RNG lose and have a collapsed bot lane, you almost never see them win. Yeah. That's exactly how FPX won. They got 4 kills in the bottom lane to start earlier on. Uzi was chased around the map. They have to get him back on his feet. So other lanes start to lose farm. The jungle starts to lose farm. And when they can't make the comeback, it just feels like the entire map starts getting dragged down.
Which is why just then when you saw Karsa towards the bottom lane, just negating that roam from Icon and World 6, it was so important. Uzi able to get this wave built up nicely, send it towards the bottom lane of OMG, and this will reset with them unable to push against. Uzi up in CS,
all right, here we go.
Cleaned out. We look to the top side and World 6 gets himself the scuttle, but Karsa just wants to keep taking the trades. Arctic Assault is available. World 6 is out.
Good positioning from Karsa, is trying to block off the Arctic Assault, but even better from World 6. Does find a little bit of light beyond the Rabble Rouser. Gets out.
Speaking of light, here comes Ming with his first roam of the game. Will be spotted out by that control ward in the Pixel Brush though, so Icon should be safe here. Played that out nicely, cleared the wave, backed away. And Curse to the top side, he's like, hang on, I can take this trade. Langx says, no, you can't. Better trades here on the airy Jayce. Small burst windows, but taking those nicely. 10 CS down in that top lane as well. So for Langx holding on to what seems to be another weak side of the map, as weak side in the mid lane. Instant cleanse from Xiaohu. That was nice. Even the flash! He unleashes power onto Hudie and Kane. My God, that was nice, Xiaohu. Very nice.
Can I see Xiaohu? Is he wearing his gunners today? He has to be.
He should be.
Holy. That was insane to watch. Captain Jack style cleanse, flash beyond the tower just to draw Hudie in for a potential kill.
Yeah. And Hudie had to flash in response as well. If not, he flashed for the dreadline. But either way, Xiaohu survives, gets to stay in lane. And there was a lot for that. Ulti down on World 6. And Karsa's in position to start making Icon hurt.
Yeah, it does force him away. Now, what I want to see is actually Karsa show Langx a little bit more love in the top side. If this laning phase continues as it is, I actually think OMG are perfectly fine with this. This has actually been going quite well for them. Okay, this is level 6 gank we've been talking about.
Well, depth charge available. The shield's going to go down onto Uzi, but he has Condemned to get them away. He hasn't popped his ulti just yet. The depth charge used, but so is the Dredgeline. Ming gets destroyed before he gets to play. The Vayne ulti comes through as well as a killer instinct from Kane. They're looking for that one more hit for the Permafrost. He's tumbling away. Permafrost will come through. They walk up, and Kane gets the kill. Double for the Karsa in game 2.
And well done from OMG. That's the key ingredient to defeating an RNG team. You just have to focus Uzi down as much as possible. And I feel like a lot of times, this split especially, RNG's bot lane will continue to push in regardless of if they have vision on that side of the map or not. We actually have seen this happen quite a few times, especially in the FPX series.
World 6 dangerously low there. Look at Karsa who wants to kill him. But good rotations from World 6. I mean, this time he's really on the ball. And this bottom lane play showed that OMG not out of this series just yet.
Yeah, very well played right here. They get Lux. Uzi stays. I have to say, Uzi actually overstays here, trying to get some damage in return. I don't think it was necessary whatsoever, though. Like, his jungler was nowhere close to the scene. Probably the best situation was just to run away.
Puts the bottom lane in a good advantage here. Kane 2 kills, BF Sword, Static Shiv. It's going to be the Storm Razor start here for the Karsa. Well, Uzi yet to pick up his Blade of the Ruined King. So components there for both AD carries, with Uzi still in the lead. Hudie's gone walkabout while the rest of RNG started to drop many control wards. Bottom side littered at the moment.
All right, so the question for RNG is, which lane will actually start to snowball? Because right now, OMG are in a very comfortable position.
Yeah.
And if they scale up later, I actually give them the better like 5v5 team fight. They have great frontline, triple semi-tanks you have in the Renekton, the Nautilus, and Sejuani. So OMG can control dragon fights from now on. And I feel RNG actually have to rely more on just the gank threat.
Even from someone like Langx who moves to the mid lane. Also, we haven't seen that Rift Herald that we normally see 10, 11 minutes into the LPL games. I'm curious as to what happens here because we have not had a single game, as far as my recollection concerned, that hasn't had a Rift Herald at this point. So wait for that one. OMG with so much control, they want to further that. They want to start breaking down turrets with turret plating. Rift Herald, the perfect way to do so.
And just looking at this warding from RNG, this is actually not sufficient to keep their bottom lane alive most of the time. Sejuani great at lane ganks, and it's been no response. So RNG actually now cannot no longer push up.
Who wins this 1v1? Curse has Dominus available. Karsa's coming up. Langx has him on the perfect side. Predator's going to come through now in a 1v2. Curse flashes forward onto the Jayce with the body bomb. Karsa, you true Chinese hero.
Lots of burst damage right there, and even though Curse gets the Dominus, he still cannot survive it.
I'll correct myself. Taiwanese hero there from Karsa. He's level 6. He came in, he body bopped, didn't even need the flash. But the first kill of the game for the Gragas. Now, as we were talking about before, the Rift Herald's going to be started up.
Xiaohu unspotted. Okay, there you go.
Ooh, scout of the week to get him away. The Arctic Assault used, I believe. Walking away, but Curse has teleport and he's back up and alive. Fight around the top side. Remember, Kane has 2 kills. If he joins this, RNG might not be able to contest.
Yeah, this is one where I actually give the advantage to OMG. I think they have a better front line. Everyone's here. You remember the bot lane has a 2-kill advantage.
Curse into the wall. This is an engage. They turn. They find the kill first, but into the fray. Xiaohu finds the 1-for-1 trade onto himself. The Realm Warp's coming in. It's the backup from OMG. Langx, great flash, but Karsa might still be dead. Icon to join. Has the Rune Prison. Slows him down. Karsa goes golden while the rest of RNG are coming in for the fight. Karsa will eventually die. The dredge line to force the flash out of Langx. RNG lose the trade. And OMG pushing for the top.
Once the bot lane was involved, that was one where RNG should not have been able to win anyway. They got their first kill, but look at the result. That's 2 more extra kills to Kane. And this is looking suspiciously like the FPX game.
Yeah, okay, there we go. We finally get it. Uzi has ult, by the way, but I'm not sure what that ult was.
It's a warning.
Yeah, it was a warning from Ming, but I'm not sure how much of a warning he can put forward. 4 kills now on Kane. He got another double in that last fight, and he picked up the Storm Razors and the pickaxe. So, escalated once again. He's much like Uzi in game number 1.
Storm Razor's great item when you're ahead. That 40% slow chases down opponents so easily. So it's a great idea on RNG's part to start the fight. However, I actually don't think Xiaohu's extra damage was necessary there. They do get the kill onto Curse, but the chase down, it expended so many resources. Ming had to flash away, Karsa no stopwatch. And that Herald fight was very suspect in my perspective. I don't think there was a solid reason that OMG should win that.
Well, RNG rather, at this point. 2k gold lead for OMG. Only bit of turret plating this game was Jayce. That's the only bit on the map right now. So, very interesting. OMG haven't been able to secure the Rift Herald before this 15-minute mark. They started up now in full vision.
Yep, and they have a right to. They're very far ahead. And this is what I was talking about when RNG...
World 6 did get it, but I believe that was by like 14 HP or something crazy. There's dive coming down here, Curse. Here we go! Drunk Geometry strikes again.
Oh, poor Curse. His life is very similar to Langx.
Icon now chasing up. This is actually not good for Icon. Xiaohu ready to scatter the weak once again. RNG. Karsa gets low. And he will be able to get out of it.
If you look at your map, every time there's a wave pushing into a tower, it is Uzi who's picking it up, and Langx has to go roam to another lane to find things for himself. So he started from top lane, went to mid lane, wave comes in, Uzi takes it, and then Langx moves towards the bottom side.
Oh, so it's going to be a trade for Dragon for top side as well as the bottom side turret. So this for RNG is a much better trade, especially since they're so far down. And at this point, with Rift Herald available, it's going to be that next move from World 6 that is going to define this mid-game and how OMG transition in with such a big lead. At this point, I also want to point out that we have a Ryze with Rod of Ages picked up there for Icon.
Oh, this is an item we haven't seen in a while. Now, most times we see the top lane Ryzes, they do go for the Morellonomicons and the Sork Shoes. That kind of just one shot, one combo.
We see Archangels into a lot of the time. Righteous Glory has been the go-to second item here in the LPL.
Yeah, that one has been for when you're more ahead, you don't lack damage. But for most part, top laner Ryze is just more for the damage build.
Yep.
But this one is it's a build that's you're looking further, and of course you get a lot more value out of that single item. And if you can drag it out, then yeah, you're going to be a great 1-3-1 option, which Xiaohu cannot answer later in the game.
To a point where Icon can sit in these side lanes pretty comfortably. 8 more minutes to go before that's fully stacked. And RNG moving towards those side lanes. Right now they've sent Uzi to the top side. They've got the mid lane under control. And keeping this mid lane turret for RNG, getting that game to go to a later portion. It's always going to be a good story for a Vayne. Always a good story for a team like RNG, who still 2k behind.
Yeah, RNG drafted themselves a composition that had winning lanes across the board, but this time around, OMG actually did a lot more with their just ganks. So World 6 actually finding himself good footing in the game is really what's so important about this matchup. And OMG actually have the better teamfight composition with more outs in terms of the 1-3-1 later on as well.
Look at this positioning. They just have such a good flank method to get into this fight. Still smart of RNG to get away, but this game, OMG are being so much more proactive.
Yeah, I feel like if OMG don't get, if RNG don't get an outplay, this should be a game where OMG can smoothly just strangle RNG off. They're going to take the mid lane tower.
With ease, it looks like Xiaohu going to clear the wave, but Rift Herald facilitates that. Karsa looking for a bop, having the level advantage over World 6.
Here's a drunken geometry we're waiting for.
Predator's coming in. Scatter Week doesn't connect. Explosive Cast does in the binding. Finds the jungler, the tankiest member on OMG. It was an ult used by Karsa, but not much merit.
That was a good try. If he got the alley-oop from Ming, they probably could have
that's true.
At least forced a flash away from Hudie.
But OMG still trying to push this mid lane turret now. Wave clears there for RNG to their merit once again. Ming does find a pick onto Icon. The explosion comes through with the pick potential that we talked about with RNG, but right now, Icon, not everything connects.
And I think RNG just have to wait until the Rage Blade comes out from Uzi.
Yeah.
While for OMG, I would really want to see them just try to pressure around the bot lane tower more.
Or this, go for a realm wall play onto Xiaohu. Good scatter the week comes through, but the dredge line as well. Icon's going to die with the body bump there from Karsa. The flash away. RNG What did you want to see, Clement? An outplay, but now Kane, with no mana, mind you, walks into the fray. He gets binded down. Good double scatter of the week as teleport comes through. World 6 wants to force. He flashes onto Karsa. A 1-for-1 trade. RNG almost had it, but in the end, OMG still getting kills across the board.
That was still a win for RNG because Uzi didn't have to do anything. He just kept on farming. Now, the reason I wanted OMG to do that on the bottom side was because they actually had vision on that side.
Fair.
So if that was a much easier tower dive, there was less opportunities for it to go wrong, and it most likely was only going to be Langx at that location. Instead, they go for the top lane tower dive into the jaws of RNG, essentially. Look at Ming's position right here. He has a perfect position to actually support this one, and you can see the members of RNG, how fast they actually collapse on this one. So even though it's a 1-for-1 trade, this is essentially a 4v5 and much more in the favor of RNG. I just felt like OMG could have picked their targets a bit better. Like, the bot lane was ripe for the exact same play.
So many more should have died. That was 2 good scatter the weeks from Xiaohu. Kept RNG in a 1-for-1 trade. And in the end, when you have a Void Staff now, second item for this mid lane Syndra, players like that get even scarier for OMG. So good from RNG. You're pointing at OMG there. They're still getting a trade across the board, but you're right. Better for the team behind. However, OMG holding on to vision through this river. Very hard for RNG to get in and contest at this point when Baron has just respawned.
Now, OMG should walk this safely, and they should just transition straight into the Drake. There's no need to really risk it right here, or take turret shots, or take damage. Just go there and set your foot down. RNG are not going to contest you here.
Uzi's just been in the side lane this past 5 minutes.
He also got the turret top lane as well. So that's why I was saying that I felt like the bot lane play involved a lot less risk and was more beneficial for OMG overall. Like, you can't let a team like RNG see the sunlight and have opportunities to outplay you.
Yeah. Now they're playing towards the Baron side here, but the news is for OMG, they'll finally be able to break the mid lane turret as RNG is zoned out, but did they find a play themselves? Predator on Karsa has been popped. Uzi is not in the fight, and RNG choosing to back away.
And this is also good and bad for RNG. You can see this is very distinct of RNG playstyle, is that when Uzi is put behind, well, the team just has to protect his side and kind of lay down their arms and let Uzi farm up. We've seen this a lot when RNG is behind, and it does mean that they give up a lot of objectives, but they're so confident in Uzi's ability to carry that they're willing to funnel resources onto him and trade. Like, they're giving up 2,000 resources, but they're maybe putting 1,500 gold into Uzi, and for them, that's actually a worthwhile trade.
And he's caught up quite a bit. The fact that Uzi was down, I think before it was 2,500, he's back to that 1,700 mark. Picked up the Guinsoo's Rageblade in that last back as well, so now the attack speed's there alongside the proc every 3 autos. And Kane picked up his own, of course, but competitive in the fights Uzi will now be.
Now, I have to say, like, RNG's philosophy on the game, I don't actually think it's necessarily logically sound, but it's Uzi, and it's worked in the past a lot of the time.
Why wouldn't it work again?
Yeah, so you can tell even if you close all the IDs off that this is an RNG game.
He has joined the mid lane fight as well, so Uzi just sitting here as the mini ARAM continues. Hudie might be caught out, good scatter of the week, but goes into the stopwatch now. Everyone from RNG jumps on, the depth charge comes through, and RNG get yet another pick. The explosive cast onto World 6 actually gets him away. But RNG have set themselves up for Baron control or to bait this one in.
Very well timed on their part. So RNG, none of the side lanes are threatening or have hit tower yet. Great opportunity to just group up. And this is the 3rd time that we've seen in this series Hudie just being caught out in the same position. He really can't do that. The key thing for RNG's vision control is that they've held on to their side of the river very well, and they have the abilities, namely just Gragas engage, to get over that river in an instant. So when you're doing wards like this, I think Hudie has some of his snake habits where he's just like, I will go on my lone mission here.
And we'll see what happens.
It doesn't really fly.
So getting caught out means that pick, just looking at who the kill gold went, I believe it was Karsa there. But either way, like, the top side of the map has a lot of resources, and as we were talking about before, Uzi has actually picked up some CS. He now sits in the mid lane as controlling this wave, which will need to push in at some point. Longer lane here for OMG, and some part of me thinks, well, this doesn't actually favor them with the control that RNG have been able to get back on that Baron.
They're still a ways away from that. I think with how strong Kane is right now, they're not going to have mid lane control anyway.
That's true.
So as long as OMG understand that they should just push mid and then walk into river, I think they should be fine. There shouldn't be a harsh contest over the Baron itself.
We'll be able to clear out the control wall that was holding guard to the purple worm. RNG walking back in now after clearing out the wave and being very, very safe here. Abilities down, making sure to clear that brushes. World 6 waiting with ultimate in hand. And OMG just pushing back out the wave. This is where it gets scary for RNG.
And this is something that I feel like is underrated in terms of Lux's win percentage. The fact that she doesn't have to face check is just amazing.
I mean, yeah. And on top of that, she also does, I guess the comparison there is Yuumi. But with a lot more consistency here from Lux. I like that clip. It's a good thought. Especially since right now vision is so important. Also, let's take this moment to bless the item gods, who at this point have gifted Langx with his 2 items, who also the Syndra almost to 3. Sonya's Hourglass to Karsa at this point. Even RNG picking up the mid lane turret. Uzi, hello. Hits Karsa twice, and Xiaohu, along with Langx, ready to go in. That's the explosive Karsa. Rather the ultimate from the Sejuani. It's the prison good condemn back from World 6.
Well, very good item choice on the bird treads.
Yeah, they survive for now. OMG now into a 5v5. There's the flash. There's the explosive cast. Icon flashes away. Almost outplays Karsa. He has to go into the Sonya's Hourglass, but RNG going forward. The explosion of orbs come through from Xiaohu as well as Icon goes golden and cursed into the middle. OMG found their team fight. They get Uzi
down.
One of the most bent members. RNG flashing away, getting away. Xiaohu the next target as Ming will die as well. 2 for 0 for OMG.
Okay, and this is where I kind of say on why I feel like the RNG let's get back strategy is kind of counterintuitive. If you funnel your gold on your AD carry, the AD carry is not supposed to get side lane pressure anyway. Like, you're not going to actually change the situation on the map. What you're waiting for is those big team fights. So, essentially what happens is a lot of times when RNG falls behind and Uzi goes on his like solo lane mission and takes up most of the farm, it actually... If they don't immediately win back on the preceding team fight, what you see is the enemy team will actually just take over the side lanes because their solo laners will be more fed. They will be able to split up the map and whatnot. So the way RNG try to get back in games is very... It is essentially a large gamble on Uzi's individual prowess, mechanical ability to get them through team fights. And in that team fight, if Uzi goes down, and the side lanes haven't been getting the amount of farm that they should have been getting. You know, most teams, the way they do it is AD carry actually just stays mid and clears. So let's go through that again and see how Uzi actually is sniped out here.
I believe it is from Karsa comes in.
Nothing he can do about that one. Oh,
there you go.
He cleanses the stun but can't stop the death charge. And Kane just has enough damage to instantly kill him.
Really good reaction here from OMG though. So they get a dragon off the back of it as well. They're 5k gold up, and it's a good news story from OMG, who honestly after that game one I thought they were just out in the series. I thought OMG was just going to roll over and die, but not the case here. RNG getting forced back into a corner at 28 minutes in bottom lane turret under pressure with the Baron buff picked up, and Kane, he didn't do the most damage in that fight, but I guarantee you the next one that comes across he will.
5-0 and 2. Plenty of way clear on this build as well.
Yeah. Nothing that RNG can do here. Langx can't clear the wave. He can't poke out. World 6 is fed too. He has the Warmogs. Now this Sejuani just doesn't die.
RNG don't have a front line. That's the main problem in these team fights. OMG can focus on any single target and just take them down. It doesn't even have to be Uzi. I actually think over-focusing on Uzi would be a mistake in these team fights. All they need to do is wait for RNG to step out of their tower, throw all of their crowd control in. It should be a one team fight.
Yeah, they'll be able to channel down bot or mid at this point. Poke still there from Langx, but World 6 in a flanking position as they find him. World 6, that's a weird animation. Not sure how that works, but it's a backwards condemn, we'll call it.
Stuck big.
Yeah, it doesn't affect him either way. The Baron buff used to the bottom side, but minimal gain here for OMG.
Yep, and I think RNG played this quite well. They didn't walk too far forward from their tower, so there's never a good opportunity to just throw a backward hook. But opportunity, the situation is still the same. If World 6 starts getting his Gargoyle Stone Plate, that's when you see, I just think the game's over.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, at this point, hard for RNG to come back. Scatter the weak needs to be on a core member, but even then, Kane's got a lot of backup. RNG losing towers across the map. So I lied, the Baron power play is not over just yet. We lose an in up. And top lane, you're going to lose one there too. And right now, OMG, how you recover from that first game, I'm not sure. Is this going to be an Underworld? Thinks he's tanky, but there's the Unleashed power. He goes golden, buys some time, splits the map in two. Big pick off here for RNG, and if you thought that top turret was going to go down, now think again with the jungler gone.
Yeah, very well, and that was done 4v5 once more. So Uzi, free time to farm up, and the tankiest member on OMG just dissipates.
Yeah. Curious about where this game goes next, Clement, because I'm looking at it and still, like, scaling elements all to OMG, so they can get picked off like this, but it's going to require a miracle again from RNG.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. World 6 probably put himself in the worst position you could imagine, and that's why it happened. But for OMG, what I want to see them do is they can just hold on to push two lanes simultaneously, have Karsa be able to support either lane. Ryze can do the same thing, and they have to remember that currently they do have the better solo laners. They shouldn't be able to contest Icon's Ryze at this point. This is a very tanky Ryze. It's not the normal just Morellonomicon build. He does have the Rod of Ages for that extra bit.
The super late game Ryze. At the moment, I was reading something up on Rod of Ages at the moment, Clement. 97% gold efficient with I think it's the first stack.
With the first stack. Oh, okay.
And then it becomes like, at 10 minutes later, it's close to 150%. So, a lot of good stats on this item, and the fact that Icon now has it fully stacked means that this Ryze at 3 is going to feel like 4.
All OMG have to do is just don't give RNG a chance to focus fire.
And this is the chance that they don't want to give away. World 6 goes in first. Karsa is going to get bopped and only just survive. Scatter the weak to get Icon away, but this man has Realm Warp, and they burst it down. The Gragas engage.
Something expended for nothing for OMG, and only 1 minute left on this Baron.
An opportunity for OMG to just pick this up again. For RNG, I mean, whether they can contest this or not is a very different matter. I think the answer is just no. Nope.
And this is what I was talking about. Generally, RNG comeback kind of dilemma. Because a lot of times focusing farm on your AD carry doesn't actually change the map situation. Whether your side lanes can be pushed out or not, most of the times is not dependent on your AD carry whatsoever. And that's why most teams, when they're behind, what they do is they send their AD carries to the mid lane. They have them just pick up waves in the mid lane, and it's the side lanes that actually get most of the farm and try to out-wrestle the enemy side lanes. So with the RNG strategy, what they're always banking on is the next big team fight. It's worked well for them in the past, but unless you're just confident, and of course there's some truth in it that Uzi's just the best goddamn.
And I mean,
AD
also
carry.
he's the person that scales the most in this team too.
Yes.
So you know, you've tried to make a late game win condition. You've tried to start this Baron up. I don't think this works, Clement.
This is very dicey. All ults are up. Kane can just fly right in. I don't think RNG are going to back off.
Available 5k RNG are making the play. World 6 goes in with the ulti. Double flash committed there from RNG. He gets
to go back.
Baron hasn't been reset though, but a great scatter of the week on the Hudie. He gets caught out once again, but double dredge line, double ulti from the Nautilus. OMG flash on in, Curse gets himself for Gragas, but Uzi still hitting the back line. Look at the Vayne. They put everything into this win condition. Now they're relying on it. Behind the Baron, they take extra bit of damage, but Icon runs in. Kane onto the backside, onto Langx. The Lux gets one, but look, Kane's zoned out. RNG is still alive, and Uzi just starts hitting the Baron again.
Oh my god. You know, what can I say? Like, if it works, it works.
Great analysis.
I mean, it's not supposed to, but RNG. It's just the way they team fights way too well. A great explosive cast from Karsa actually separates the front line from the back line. Front line takes a lot of unnecessary damage on OMG's side, and they're able to use that to chase out OMG.
I can't believe they lost the trade there. It wasn't even Uzi in the end. I have to say that.
Gragas was already dead. I felt like they could have. I want to see that again.
I think it was Xiaohu. I think let's take a close look at Xiaohu.
Yeah, because this is definitely a situation where you say like, okay, RNG is in a very bad spot. Easy chase opportunity coming over the wall. They get summoners early from RNG, and Karsa just dies here before
Xiaohu
doing
got scat of the week, and then Karsa ulted.
Yeah, so if you just look at this, you're like, oh wow, what happens after this? And Langx goes in. Oh, he wastes so many cooldowns, backs out safely, and a lot of Baron damage taken on the front line.
Kane tried to get the kill on him as well, committed a lot. We're back to Baron though, folks. RNG near the pit. Icon has been called out. Will they continue on? No! Karsa steals the Baron! Just jumps in like that. Fat boy Slim into the middle. OMG will get the pick. For RNG, can they get out with the objective though? They get pulled. It's Ming.
They should be down.
Great scout of the week though. Icon into the backside. I don't think he wants to be here, Clement. While Uzi takes on World 6. RNG just never give up. Icon now going to get bursted by Langx, and it's just not over. Here comes Uzi. 1, 2, and 3. Uzi win condition online as well.
That is known as the unscientific team fight in the LPL community. Team fights where you're not supposed to have that far of a lead, that much of an advantage. But Karsa, once again, this is how this guy started his career in the LPL, by repeatedly stealing away Baron buffs at All-Star games, and he does it once more. You never count the Gragas out. He's one level down, but it doesn't matter. He's got the burst.
Flash, cast, body slam, all at once.
And the most important thing in this team fight is they just zone Icon out so well. Kane gets a lot of damage onto Ming, but he's never able to finish off a full combo. Very well done. Uzi even dodges back for the extra shielding.
He's huge. He picked up 3 kills in that fight. Now RNG on the offensive for the first time in this game. They get a pick. They explode again. OMG like, no, it's not going to happen, we swear. They jump onto Ming, they jump onto Hudie. Kane in the backline finally gets the 80 carry, but OMG, Xiaohu is still alive. Langx jumps on top. Would you there? Double body bomb. And RNG, I take it all back. They've been destroyed because Icon is in his element. Langx needs to survive to hold the game, and he does. But RNG almost turned that. OMG just played it better.
Great find on Curse. He spent everything he had just to get that Uzi kill. Main DPS is gone from the team, and you have to remember the other members are relatively unfed compared to the likes of Uzi. So good target focus on them, and OMG are still in control of the gold lead.
Only just, but we're getting to a point where golds are relevant. I want to see this one because we came into it late, but there's a double binding from Ming.
Yeah, you have to watch what Curse does right here. It goes through the entire composition, and it was a great 1-2 punch here. Oh, actually, it is Kane that finishes off just before he goes down himself and gives over the 1,000 gold bounty. Very good layered crowd control on OMG's side onto Uzi. Forces him into the Zhonya's early, and then when he gets up, they still have the W ready. They still have Kane holding onto his ultimate to finish off the kill.
Who survives the longest, Kane or Uzi? It seems like that's the fight, but now let's add another element in. Icon has hit that point where the Ryze is just so darn nasty. Almost a Rabadon's death cap completed here. Now I want to take stocks and say that Uzi, 4 items, almost 5. We've come to an even point, it feels like. There's an Infernal on both teams, but Elder's coming up, and we know that OMG have more to play with. They have held control for the majority of this game, and the Rabadons was just completed for Icon, alongside the already full build Karsa.
OMG has been winning these fights because they are zoning out the enemy carries before they can do any damage, and they've consistently been able to do that throughout all of these team fights. However, if OMG just do a full frontal engage and fight front to back, I don't think RNG actually have any chance. All they're waiting on is World 6 just to complete his Gargoyle Stoneplate, be the first one to initiate on it, and as long as he locks someone down, they should be able to finish this off.
That's right, RNG backing away after getting the turret. You can see that they look like they had control, but it's OMG just paying them respect that they do. Bring yourself back into this game when all hope was lost is insane. All Karsa's doing, and now running through the mid lane, look at where RNG stand.
Yeah, that was very close on Kane's edge, and Xiaohu does hurt.
Well, that's a real morph to the top side there. Langx is just out of there straight away. Hudie through the turret. Goodbye. Now, the issue with this is that Hudie is separated. RNG know this, but they don't pull the trigger soon enough. However, OMG still, Curse rides through the mid lane. Binding not going to connect. It just sends OMG closer towards the Baron that's not up yet.
Yeah, you know they're looking for a Predator. Was proc there by Karsa. He's got a better angle onto everything.
Shock blast misses there from Langx as well. Not that it's going to do that much damage to this front line. Curse going for the flank, although he's spotted out by wards.
And this is incredibly tense. I love what OMG is doing right here. They're just forcing it straight down the middle, but wait a minute, they suddenly think there's an Elder Drake.
Yeah.
Trying to play the fork, but at the same time, they're leaving their flanks exposed.
OMG are going to get an inhibitor here. RNG pick a fight now, because otherwise everything's going to fall to the wayside. Inhibitor's going to drop. OMG have positioning. Curse now back into the fight with the ult, the depth charge onto Karsa. That's a big ulti down. RNG ready for Scatter the Week. They jump onto World 6. Icon's in the base. Has to flash over the wall.
That's still a win for OMG in my book. They get the objective, even at a bit of a cost of things on the map. That's still fine.
Yep.
And they have double teleports on their solo
And they're not
lanes.
backing. They're just going to go for top lane turret as well.
This is actually quite smart. You want to hang around until the Baron actually comes up, and that means that RNG can't just run in towards the Baron area.
Karsa walking towards his own jungle. He wants to go straight for Icon and Kane. He walks past everyone. He flushes the explosive cast. Hits Kane, misses, you're right. So now we need to see the depth charge worked in action again, but it's not available. The unleashed power onto Kane doesn't kill him either. Look at where Uzi is. He's zoned out of the fight. He's in the backside. OMG looking to clean up, and Kane almost takes Ming down as well. This is a better trade for OMG, as Kane will find Xiaohu on the back end, and World 6 into Langx. The Jayce does get the kill.
So many split fights and so many different fronts being presented by RNG. A 2-for-2 trade only, and they're still holding on to this fine.
Kane into Uzi. Remember, Ming getting hit hard by the Void Seeker in the end.
Oh, that one. Xiaohu has just been saving these team fights over and over again. That was a 4-man scatter of the week to start the fight off.
This is an insane game from RNG. Much more or less insane from RNG. Now that inhibitor going to cause them a bit of trouble here, as RNG going to lose the Baron. OMG had the pushing power with this one too, so makes it even harder for RNG. OMG just feels so close to bringing this to a game 3, but try as they might, they're not there yet.
We've been talking about the Miracle team fights, and RNG with that extra 80 in AP.
TP from Curse, TP coming in from Icon 4K, but Curse, if he goes in, Uzi's going to start knocking away. Secured. That's the Elder Dragon. Cost of double TP. Versus now the Baron buff. There's a timer in your top right. Pay attention as we look back at this fight.
Oh, this was so damn close. Karsa goes in, misses everything, and you think that fight is over, but look at how Xiaohu gets 4 people with the Scatter of the Week, saves Uzi, gives him enough time to actually cleanse himself and get out of the situation. Curse was waiting for him. Curse played this team fight so well. He was over the wall, flashed instantly, gets the stun onto Uzi, but because Xiaohu is there, they can't finish off the kill, and World 6 just a little bit lost right there. Didn't really know where he was going, so did ended up trading his life, and that was a bit of a mistake because he did have the Warmogs, and that would have likely prevented the Elder Drake, actually.
At the end of the day, RNG trade even, but at this point now we look back to these timers in the top right. Elder 130, Baron 215. Now, with the Baron buff, opportunity to push through the bottom lane, but RNG still want to fight. Predator's propped here by Gragas, but Karsa can't find anyone. OMG pull back.
And this is going to be so fun because RNG is actually the team fight comp that doesn't want the full 5v5.
Yeah.
If you think about the compositions, OMG just has a superior team fight composition. Now but RNG have to force it.
But if they can find a pick onto Kane, the game is over. Same with Icon as well, but Kane needs to outplay. Hudie gets backed up by the Scatter of the Week. 5 versus 5 mid lane with bottom wave slowly pushing in and top wave doing the same for OMG.
OMG doing the highest percentage play. They're just waiting for that 40 seconds to wear off, and then they will instantly engage onto RNG. The next wave is taking multiple seconds.
Look at the front line here. It's Karsa, and even then he's not that tanky, so they can't approach the turret without a minion wave.
Here we go.
That's Hudie locked on down the explosive cast onto the support. They get the turret and they get Scatter of the Week, but Hudie still alive. While World 6 with Uzi just jumps on him. Doesn't matter if he has Warmogs. The burn going to tick him down and send OMG packing with an inhibitor taken by RNG.
The front line is the first one to get taken out there. Lots of damage being dealt, and once again, RNG is splitting these team fights so well. They're keeping all of the OMG members on the right side while Uzi gets to solo in on the tanks.
And there's no vision here. They cleared it away. They're waiting for the bait. Look at where they are. If RNG get the pick here, the game is over with their Elder Dragon 10 seconds and counting.
Just waiting. If Kane gets hit by a light binding, that could be a blink of an eye. It doesn't happen so far, and Karsa gets his ult
Elder's
back.
gone here, Clement. 35 seconds. Baron buff is still there, but OMG, they've been put on the defensive. Gold is at that point where it does not matter anymore. We're towards the 5-6 item mark, and RNG have hit their spikes on this Vayne, who now has a Bloodthirster to finish off the build.
Wow, that's so much sustain on Uzi. He's planning to go mano-a-mano against Icon and just lifesteal his way back to relevance.
They have so much burst damage here on RNG. So even though the item spikes are better for OMG, even though you have a Ryze and a Karsa, let's not forget at this point that RNG's comp, that pick is what started it in the first place. And the pick potential is there to take Kane out before he even gets in the fight. Or Icon for that matter as well. So look towards where the next Baron buff will be spawning. It'll be the third of this game. 2 minutes 15, Elders in 2:30, and OMG have to deny the second Elder from RNG. Otherwise, that double Elder buff is going to rip them apart.
Yeah, and Kane really has to be careful of Xiaohu at this point. Xiaohu has finished his death cap with his magic penetration, so if he wants to just flash and unload on Kane, Kane actually dies. No Banshee Veils, no GA, so and no Hex Drinker either, so that's actually something that could happen in these team fights. We have to be very careful about that. I think Kane has to stay behind his tank line.
OMG walking towards his top side right now, though. Clement and RNG in a perfect position to find the flank. Hudie caught out again. The light binding doesn't connect, but Scatter the Weak does. OMG walk up to the turret. That was close to being a 5v4. If my English could be correct, that'd be great at this point. It needs to be. Explosive Cast separates the team. They just want the turret. RNG running, streamlining rather, into the top side of this map.
They're getting so much out of these shields here. There's no poke damage that is going back onto RNG's side, and Lux is so damn powerful. Yeah,
really annoying at this point. The shields are too big to count. RNG sieging
Karsa
down.
Spotted.
They find the Glacial Prison. Look at Langx onto the Renekton. He wants to take the 1v1 while Icon flashes in. Two-man Scatter the Weak though from Xiaohu, while the depth chart goes onto Ming, who has to flash in the end. Curse takes the 1v1, and he's winning it. OMG send the rest of the team there. Karsa comes in for the flank. Body Bolt flash, the final spark. While Kane now ults in with the Killer Instinct. This is the final fight of the game. I'll tell you that right now. The Explosive Cast once again comes out. Two-man
Kane on the flank.
Kane goes in, gets Langx and lives, but gets dropped by a light binding. Uzi tries to go. This is so damn messy. Good condemn, but Uzi in the middle tumbles his way out, and he's alive. Clement, he's alive. He survives through the thick of it. Kane's still there though, runs on in. Uzi lives, now it's up to Kane, but he can't do it. Uzi and Xiaohu, and the biggest game of the split so far.
And RNG with the clean finish. That was a pure face check from Uzi, but his sustain brought him through that entire thing.
And now RNG walk to the Nexus that was so hard to get in this second game. 2-0 through thick and thin against OMG.
That was back and forth again and again, and the best team fight that we've seen from Uzi and RNG this entire split. They were down in gold, down in objectives throughout most of this game, but they trusted in Uzi. They gave him all of the resources, and with that triple sustain build, Blade of the Ruined King, and the you had the Mercurial Scimitar, and also the Bloodthirster, he was able to out-sustain while stunned among 3 people. They couldn't take him down. The shield was that thick.
That fight just went so back and forth. But my God, a way to finish for RNG, if I've ever seen one. That was such a long game. And Clement, I'm not sure where to start. I'm really not.
That was a clinical comeback from RNG, and one of the reasons why personally I just love watching RNG games. If they fall behind, they look for the very unorthodox plays. The Great Baron Steal, where Karsa was under-leveled to keep them inside the game, and then the fight around their top-tier tower where they were able to trade away the jungler and the mid laner from OMG and split the objectives on the map, giving themselves the Elder Drake. And finally, that one last push where you could see Ming constantly getting all of the shields, and they're winning out on the poke board, the sustain war. And finally, Karsa finds this great flank.
Yeah.
They get Langx down. You think it's all over. Kane finds the kill. But then Uzi goes into the fray and changes the fate of RNG.
Xiaohu and Uzi left alive. The core elements of RNG come through. Not a point in that game were RNG ahead. And I can confirm our new longest game of the summer split is now the second game of RNG and OMG.
47 minutes and 42 kills between these two teams. This is exactly why you watch the LPL. There's a clash of styles, a clash of ideas here, and RNG are just so unique in their understanding of the game, the way they handle these team fights.
Yes.
And their confidence in themselves. I can't believe, like, there was moments in the game where they were the inferior team fight composition, walking up and rushing towards OMG.
God. Really not about the damage in the end, although Xiaohu at 45,000, Langx at 37. I mean, they're numbers you can throw around. But after that game too, what you saw from RNG in game 1, you're like, wow, that's clean. This is a 2-0. It was, but really not the way you thought. Like OMG, that second game, I have to say, put up a very good fight. It's more to their merit that they got to that point, but also to RNG, the fact that the Uzi strat, I guess it worked out to a degree.
It did. You know,
I mean,
like,
it really did.
That's what really separates teams. Like, teams in the LPL, they really do consider their player strength.
Yeah.
They consider that a lot. You know, theory is one thing, but when you actually hit the rift, it's a different matter.
That's true. That's true. Explosive way to end the game. I can't even remember. I blacked out of that last fight. All I just remember saying is,
I want to see that replay again.
Uzi's alive. Uzi's alive. I'm pretty sure that's what my play-by-play came to at the end of that.
Kane got the
fight.
Drop on him through a supercharge,
Yes.
and he still sustained.
And I'm pretty sure he had Killer Instinct as well. And I think Uzi either condemned him or just stayed alive the whole time. But it's part of Xiaohu. Like, Xiaohu is the merit of that play as well. Remember that in that point in the game, like Syndra, you don't know for that super late scaling champion, right? But Syndra still has 6 items, 1 shots any carry.
Yeah, I love that build path from Uzi. The build path to not go for any crit items. He did go for the hurt.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Like the safety and the bloodthirster is the last item.
Yeah, not just actually going for
that's where
kind of
how
like
he survived. Like that's the lifesteal that came through, right?
Yeah, that was very insane to watch through that. I felt like there was a lot of good things that happened for OMG. Actually, they had a very strong early game. It was just a couple of plays here and there that gave tempo back to RNG. I felt like the mid lane dive was one that really hurt them a lot.
Yeah.
And then they got picked off on the Baron play. But even then, I felt like they could have won the game if they were still willing to punish side lanes a little bit more. Just go for the 1-3-1. I felt like RNG basically shocked them into team fighting. Like, RNG were so aggressive.
You ready?
And so in your face and just constantly asking for the team fights that OMG kind of were frazzled.
OMG were like that kid that finally wants to go to the gym. He's turned 15. You walk into the gym and the trainer's like, all right, man, I'm going to whip you up with this package. Normally $9.99, but you know, this time it's $499 for you, right? He keeps offering and offering and offering. You can't say no. And OMG just lulled into it. It's like, okay, I'll do it anyway. And that for RNG, you know, they're the bulky trainer and they just smacked him in the end. You're like, well, I've been betrayed.
The point is, if you think about it, Ryze was so far ahead in that matchup. If he was able to play a side lane, just split pushing style, nobody could match him, actually. But RNG somehow kept it into a 5v5.
And even in the fight, you know, he was there first, but it is the fact that, like, I think Karsa had a big part to play in that fight. The flank, where he just ignored key members of OMG. Each and every time, he ignored players in each fight. Because Karsa's like, I know what my job is here. I can survive long enough to get to that fight. And even if I die, I've done enough so that the rest of RNG can actually just clean this up.
Yeah, I think a lot of the instances in the game where you just found, I just found like OMG, they should have been a little bit more willing to engage on the team fight rather than just they backed out and waited for picks. But they actually had a better front line in most of those games. They were very afraid of getting the explosive cast and scattering and giving like Uzi that Vayne potential where he's just chasing tanks the entire fight.
I mean, that's what makes an MVP, and I said it. Those are the keywords. Throw it up. There you go. Now, he didn't do much damage,
18.6, so most of it was actually on the on Xiaohu.
I think Xiaohu or Karsa definitely deserve the MVP, but it's because Uzi in the end survived. They were happy with that.
Wow, that's actually very telling. So with the sustained build, you know that he's actually not the main damage dealer here. We look at this fight and you think it's kind of over, but Langx is able to actually dodge out of the Arctic Assault. But watch Kane as he comes around the corner and still gets the pick off onto Langx. That was very well done on his part. And you just feel like, oh, maybe this game is going to be over now. And it's not that. They actually get even more kills. Look at where Uzi is. Yeah, he's actually stunned throughout this fight.
Lifesteal.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a 3v2 at the very end
I want to know how he survives this. Lifesteal.
He just walks
and
into
Xiaohu actually, Xiaohu half chunked Kane. So I think Xiaohu deserves MVP, but rightly so. You look at that and you go, well, Uzi's, unkillable.
Yeah.
But like RNG put in the work to get Uzi to that point. So I think Xiaohu definitely well deserved. He would have done 40% damage that game for sure.
Yeah, he did a lot more damage than Uzi in that team fight for sure. Just the Phantom Dancer keeping him alive. So interesting build, great results from that one. Very interesting game. However, it does worry me a little bit for RNG.
Oh, yeah.
But what it says is that their early games are not as consistent as you think it is. I think the core thing that RNG needs to focus on is still getting a superior jungle matchup most of the time. If they're running Gragas versus Sejuani, great, they're very creative with the pick, but if you want to do that, I'd rather see the Gragas in the bot lane as a support and just run something that has priority.
Ming's run it in the past, so why wouldn't he run it again, right?
Yeah, Gragas is the bread and butter build for RNG. There's one champion, if you ask me which champion was most important for RNG's 2018 run, I'd actually go with Gragas.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. I think, like, looking at the RNG we have now, though, I would still say playoff-ready team. Despite what happened in Game 2, despite the comeback that was involved there, I still look at that and go, yeah, 2-0, not an easy one, but a 2-0 all the same. I'm losing my voice after that last play. Bring up standing so I can cough in peace, please, and not die. Thank you. Go, Clement.
Very well done on their side. Looking at the roster, we do have RNG moving up to second place, taking over top esports spot as they slide a little bit down. And just checking over the roster. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Dogs Club.
They ended up 4th place in spring and then fell to JD Gaming. So this time in summer split, they definitely want to hang on to a better score. I think it's probably the most important for them since their spring record wasn't that good. You have to remember that with the spring points, you really are looking at maybe getting a second place. So it means going into finals for a lot of these teams, especially for FPX and RNG and EDG, for all of these teams, because of the JD Gaming upset that happened. A lot of them are vying for those final spots just to get it to Worlds based on a points.
I'm going to tell you right now, FPX probably looking towards Worlds if they just keep going, with another almost flawless split. So things looking good here for FPX, but of course, that finishes off before we go to Rift Rivals, ladies and gentlemen. This will be when we return, if I'm not mistaken, the 12th of July, also because there's a date towards the top of the screen. But this will not be a broadcasted date. Here's where I pull out my little calendar. You're ready? You're ready for this?
I think we're coming back on the 15th, I believe.
Oh, the 13th.
Oh, 13th. Okay.
13th. We're going to give them some coverage. So, Demo, BLG, JDGWE. This is when we start talking, because FPX and Vici, okay. These could be stomps, but OMG and IG, I don't know. After what I just saw about OMG, I kind of get excited for that.
OMG with their jungle and their mid lane and their new bot lane actually looks to be one of the most improved teams over the entire split. You have LNG there, but I would put OMG very close second. Karsa is a great addition. Kane actually looks sick.
Yes.
We haven't seen an AD carry take up most of the damage here on OMG since basically SMLZ.
Since when? It's like Chili and Five have been on that roster for a very long time.
Yeah, but SMLZ was their last big thing. So it's great to see OMG come back into the realm. There's two teams we missed in 2017. OMG and W are those teams.
That's right.
So they're actually, they're going to give some close competition in Invictus Gaming.
Good to see the resurgence of OMG against RNG tonight. So that makes that a little bit more exciting. FPX and IG coming off Rift Rivals, which, ladies and gentlemen, is our next big event, where the LPL on July 4th, this will be starting. We'll be representing in IG, JDG, FPX, and Top Esports. And we get to go up against LCK, LMS, and the VCS combined at the end.
First time the VCS is going to be entering this event, so it's going to be a warm welcome.
Good luck. Because I tell you what, the LPL right now are explosive, and we support our teams here. So 4 versus 4 versus 4. I can't wait for LPL to win Rift Rivals.
As we always have.
As we always have. That's the support. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, by the way. An abrupt ending from myself, but big thank you to Clement here and our production team. It was an explosive one, but we're excited to go towards Rift Rivals and see how we fare there. Coming up on July 4th, set your clock. It's bye for now, but definitely not forever.